This book is one of the most popular books I've seen in a long time. Everyone is like obsessed with it, and I really don't understand why. When I first read the back of the book and I learned that it was a fantasy book about dragons and dragon school, it was not something I thought I ever wanted to read. But because people are so obsessed with it and it has so many really good reviews, I finally decided just to try and read it. I've been reading it for about a week now, and my opinions on it keep changing. So now I am about 350 pages in, and I'm nearing the ending. But I really want to finish it, and I feel like I'm gonna have a better experience finishing it if I finish it in the quickest amount of time possible. So I've decided to give myself 2 hours today to finish these 150 pages. So at the end of these 2 hours, I'm gonna give my final rating of the book out of 5 stars. I really want to be able to give it a good rating because I feel like people might be upset if I don't, but I also am going to be honest. By the end of this, we'll see if I give it a 5-star or possibly even as 2-star. Honestly, the ending is really going to determine a lot. But like I said, I had a whole week of reading this with lots of ups and downs, starting with even the bookmark. My normal bookmark was occupied with another book, and I don't have that many bookmark options, so I decided to go with this Stranger Things themed one. I don't know why I have it. Show has nothing to do with reading, but for some reason they made a bookmark, so I decided to go with that one and I could finally start reading. I just hit page 263, chapter 22. Okay, so when I first started reading this, to me it felt a lot like a dystopian book that had like fantasy characteristics. It actually reminded me a lot of Divergent at first, and now as it's getting further and further into the book, it's starting to explain more of this like magical world and stuff about the actual dragons and stuff, and this is the stuff that I was like nervous about. I thought this would be the part that I would lose interest really quickly, but I'm actually really enjoying it, and I think it's because I genuinely really like the characters and I care about what happens to them. I'm really excited. I'm gonna keep reading this throughout the rest of the week. So up until like the halfway point, there are like specific goals that the main character is trying to reach, and like in the beginning of the book they kind of laid out what each of these things were, so I had like a lot to look forward to as I was reading because I wanted to know if she passed this thing and then the next thing and then the next test or the next trial or whatever. And then I hit like the halfway point and there wasn't really anything else for her to do, and as far as like what she's doing day to day, it's like not really changing much. She's gotten into like a routine and not much more is happening, I feel like. Thus far at the 300 page mark, my thoughts are the first half was like a 5-star, and now we're slowly moving downwards a little bit. So my feelings on this book thus far are kind of complicated. My opinions on it keep changing because I have days when I really love it and I love what I'm reading and I love the story and I love the characters, and then I have times when some things are making me cringe a little bit, but then at the same time there are parts that are really good and I do really love. I think since this is the first fantasy book I've read in a while, I'm reading it just a little bit slower than I would a normal book, or at least that's the excuse I'm gonna give to why I'm reading this so slowly, because I really don't know why. I think the big thing that would turn this into a 5-star book for me is if the ending has some kind of a big reveal or like a big exciting thing happening at the ending, like a satisfying like twist or something, because thus far it's like building up like this mystery that needs to be resolved, and I just hope it has a good resolution in a way that's really exciting and fun to read about. I've decided to give myself 2 hours today to finish these 150 pages. I'm almost at 400 pages. Just got to an exciting part. Like she's been kind of waiting on something and wanting to know what something is, or like what the answer to something is, and I just now figured it out, and it's epic. Now I'm really just curious as to how it's gonna end and how it's all gonna wrap up. I don't know why I gave myself 2 hours to finish 150 pages. For some reason I thought that was like plenty of time to finish that much, but it's a lot of book to read, especially when they're like bigger pages with like smaller font. But I already made this goal, so I really want to try to do it, but I don't know why I just did 2 hours. For some reason I thought that that was normal for a second. Like I just don't know how it's gonna be possible. I'm gonna try my best, but it's gonna be really hard. This is one of those books where you just know important people are going to die before the ending. It's a very high risk like world they're living in, and people have died thus far. I remember the first person who died who was kind of important. I was reading it last week. I think I was reading it in my car, and this one person died that was kind of important, and I was so annoyed. But before the ending, I just know that somebody important, probably one of her close friends, are going to die. And you just know this is the type of book where somebody important is going to die. Okay, I'm a little bit further in now. I'm an hour into the time, and I've not read as much as I need to in order for it to be like halfway. So I'm a little nervous about that. So I just need to keep reading. It's a little less than 100 pages left. As I'm reading, I'm trying to think about like, would this be a 5-star book? Is it more of like a 4-star? Or are the smaller things that I'm not really liking about it strong enough to affect the overall rating? I don't know. It's starting to rain a little bit, and I love reading when it's raining outside. So I think I'm gonna move over to the window so I can look out at the rain as I'm reading. To be honest, earlier in this week when I was reading the book, I didn't love the main character that much, but now she's like a completely different person from the beginning of the book in the best way possible, and I'm really liking that. I am at page 427. There's 498 pages in all. I'm so close, but it feels like I've been reading for ages. I just paused it to film this, but I have 1 minute and 48 seconds left on the clock. So I'm probably not gonna be able to do this, read over 50 pages in 1 minute, obviously not. But I'm still glad I made this challenge for myself because it did make me read a lot quicker than I probably would have if I didn't. And I'm pretty close to being done. And I'm getting so close to the end, and I still can't figure out how it's going to finish. But I have a lot left to read, and I'm going to sit here and read it until I finish. I still don't know what I want to rate this yet. Again, it really depends on how it ends. I just got to page 450, and I'm so close to the end. I only have 50 pages left that I'm just gonna fly through as quickly as I can in a few minutes. Crazy things are happening all in these last couple chapters. The last chapter I just read had like 3 different crazy like plot twists happening, and I was so surprised of some of them. One of them I kind of expected and I kind of saw coming. I'm about to go read through the rest of it, and we'll see what happens. I have finished the book now. It's actually been a little bit since I finished it. I wanted to spend some time thinking over it and considering what I wanted to rate this. The very last page, it was just crazy. I think the parts that I don't like are just a me thing, not a book thing. Like, I don't think this is a 5-star book for me. So I think I would rate it a 4.5 stars. Overall, good book, worth the read. This annoying little bookmark did good, but I'm not gonna use it again.